YNR spoilers. Jack's strategic attack on Victor and Nikki's marriage hits Victor where it hurts. The Young and the Restless spoilers and updates tease that Jack Abbott, Peter Bergman, is set to undermine the marriage of Victor Newman, Eric Braeden, and Nikki Newman, Melody Thomas Scott. Jack is determined to strike at his rival in a way that truly hurts. During the week of December 15th to 19th, viewers will see Victor retaliate fiercely, despite Jack's efforts to safeguard Jabot. Victor will turn Jack's protective measures against him. In a clever twist, Victor will turn Jack's protective measures against him as he directs Adam Newman, Mark Grossman, to amplify the impact of Jabot's shutdown through Newman Media. Victor's goal is to tarnish Jack's reputation as a businessman, making it appear as though Jabot's demise is inevitable. As Jabot becomes the subject of numerous negative headlines and a flurry of bad press online, Victor will be absolutely delighted. Nevertheless, Jack is not the type to passively accept Victor's machinations. Given Victor's underhanded tactics and the fact that he chose to unleash the scandal during the launch party for Abbott Communications, Jack will have ample justification for his outrage. Nikki won't like what's happening. YNR fans can look forward to Jack engaging in some serious brainstorming as he prepares to confront Victor in a significant way. There will be various strategies for Jack to pursue, but one will hit close to home. Once Nikki discovers Victor's actions, she will have strong objections. Nikki has been attempting to guide Victor towards reconciliation with Jack, or at least persuade him to set aside his vengeful impulses. Yet, deep down, Nikki must have known that this was unlikely to occur. Despite Victor's affection for Nikki, he is not inclined to negotiate peace with Jack on her behalf. Understandably, Victor will face Nikki's anger once she learns about everything, giving Jack the opportunity to take advantage of the tension between them. Jack will see the cracks in Victor and Nikki's relationship and take action. Jack will recognize the discord in their relationship and will aim to further disrupt Victor's marriage, which will only intensify Victor's frustration. Nikki and Victor are bound to experience a challenging period, particularly with Jack around to exacerbate the situation through his interference. However, there will be compelling reasons for Victor and Nikki to reunite. With the chaos surrounding Matt Clark, also known as Mitch Bacall, Roger Howarth, on the horizon, Nikki and Victor will need to stand united. Additionally, the festive Christmas spirit will assist Victor and Nikki as they concentrate on what truly matters in the future. News of YNR spoilers. Jack's strategic attack on Victor and Nikki's marriage hits Victor where it hurts. The air in Genoa City is thick with anticipation, betrayal, and the acrid scent of a rivalry that has defined an era. Today's spoilers for The Young and the Restless reveal a move so strategically cunning, so deeply personal, that it promises to reshape the landscape of the city's most powerful families. Jack Abbott, Peter Bergman, is done fighting fair. His decades-long war with Victor Newman, Eric Braeden, has just escalated into a full-blown, scorched-earth campaign, and this time, Jack has found Victor's most vulnerable spot: his marriage to Nikki Newman, Melody Thomas Scott. Victor Newman, the ultimate power broker, is about to learn that in the high-stakes game of corporate and personal vengeance, a man's empire is only as strong as the foundation he builds it on. And right now, the foundation of his relationship with Nikki, the very woman who is his heart, his conscience, and his ultimate weakness, is cracking under the pressure of his own ruthlessness. The mustache's miscalculation, a corporate coup gone personal. The battle began, as always, in the boardroom. Victor, fueled by an insatiable need to dominate, launched a crippling curveball at Jack. Despite Jack's efforts to protect Jabot, Victor instructed his ever-loyal yet conflicted son, Adam Newman, Mark Grossman, to use the powerful platform of Newman Media to amplify the negative buzz around Jabot's temporary shutdown. The timing was a dagger. The news broke during the celebratory launch party for Jack and Billy's new venture, Abbott Communications. Victor's objective was clear: ruin Jack's reputation, ensure Jabot's downfall appeared sealed, and rub the salt of his corporate victory into the Abbott family's collective wound. He thought a business attack would be enough to secure his win, basking in the glow of negative headlines and terrible online chatter. What Victor failed to grasp is that in Genoa City, business is always personal. This latest calculated strike, unleashed with such malicious intent, has pushed Jack past his breaking point. The intellectual sparring, the corporate maneuvering, the simple pride of a win, that's all secondary now. Jack is out for blood, and he knows exactly how to make Victor pay a price far heavier than any financial loss. Nikki's fury, the cracks in the Newman Foundation. Enter Nikki Newman, the one person Victor trusts implicitly, the only person who can temper his Black Knight impulses, is now his unwitting adversary. Nikki has desperately tried to steer Victor toward peace, urging him to end his perpetual, destructive vendetta against Jack. She has appealed to his love for her, his family, and his own well-being, but the mustache, as always, dismisses her concerns when his pride is at stake. The spoilers indicate that when Nikki gets the full, unvarnished truth of Victor's dirty move, how he exploited his own son and his company to savagely attack Jack during a moment of professional celebration, she is absolutely livid. Her objection is not just about Jack. It's about the darkness Victor keeps inviting back into their lives, and the way he uses their own children as pawns in his endless game. She had tried to steer him toward peace, but Nikki surely knew deep down that just wasn't going to happen. Nikki's rage is a cold, calculated fury, and it creates the first visible crack in the Newman marriage. Victor, in his arrogance, assumes her wrath will fade, or that she will ultimately forgive him, as she always does. But this time a vital element is missing from the equation: Jack Abbott. Jack's strategy, a personal, surgical strike. While Victor is focused on the dwindling stock prices and the negative press surrounding Jabot, Jack is doing some strategic brainstorming of his own. He sees the ripple effect of Victor's actions, the fallout, the anger, the raw, emotional betrayal radiating from Nikki, and he realizes he has a clear, moral avenue for retaliation. Jack's counterattack will not be corporate, it will be personal. He plans to strategically exploit the friction between Victor and Nikki, driving a permanent, unhealable wedge into their already strained marriage. Jack and Nikki have a complicated, undeniable history. They were married, they have shared moments of profound trust, and even now, they maintain a deep, almost spiritual friendship. Nikki still turns to Jack with issues she cannot bring to Victor, a man who dictates rather than discusses, and who demands loyalty instead of earning vulnerability. The spoiler reveals the central thrust of Jack's new plan: the interrogation. Jack will not simply offer a shoulder to cry on. He will press Nikki hard, forcing her to confront the ugly truth of her complicity. He may accuse her of enabling Victor's destructive, vengeful actions, reminding her that standing by silently makes her as bad as Victor. This isn't just an attack on Victor. It's a painful mirror Jack holds up to Nikki, forcing her to question her life choices. The comparison: Jack will be the antithesis of Victor. Where Victor tells Nikki what to do or what he needs from her, Jack asks what she needs and what she would like to do. He will contrast Victor's controlling, my baby attitude with his own willingness to level with her, mixing harsh truths with a belief in her strength. The emotional affair: this is the most potent weapon. Nikki may never physically cheat on Victor again, but Jack will expertly insert himself into their marriage in a profoundly emotional sense. He will be the confidant, the non-judgmental ear, the one person who truly sees and validates Nikki's pain and disillusionment with her husband. For Victor, who only understands tangible threats, this emotional siege will be a blind spot, a threat he cannot punch, sue, or buy out. The whirlwind of consequences. Jack's move is a masterful, calculated risk that will ignite a firestorm of blinding fury. Hitting Victor in his marriage is the ultimate non-business betrayal. The Newman patriarch cannot stand the idea of any man, especially Jack Abbott, coming between him and Nikki. Jack's interference is guaranteed to rile Victor up more than any corporate loss ever could, leading to an even more chaotic and unpredictable wave of retaliation. Nikki's boiling point. The spoilers clearly state that Nikki is stunned by the extent of Victor's chicanery and that she will boil over in rage. However, Victor's arrogant dismissal of her anger, telling her, "Don't worry about it. This is nothing for you to concern yourself with," will only exacerbate the issue. Jack's intervention will prevent Nikki from simply nodding and floating away, as she often does, forcing her to stand her ground. A familiar narrative. The history of Nikki and Jack is one of the show's enduring on-again/off-again sagas. Victor knows, deep down, that Jack is the only man who has ever truly challenged him for Nikki's heart. Jack once saved Nikki's life and got her into rehab, an act she is forever grateful for. Jack is reminding Nikki that she has a choice Victor's dominating nature makes her feel she doesn't have. The unifying danger. While Jack's sabotage will create a rough patch, there is a looming threat that could force the Newmans to temporarily reunite. The escalating danger surrounding the return of Matt Clark, aka Mitch Bacall. The family will have to present a united front against this monstrous external enemy. However, even a common threat may not be enough to mend the deep rift Jack has purposefully created. The trust is gone. A marriage on the brink. Endgame or another reset. The biggest question now is whether this is another temporary split, another rough patch in the saga of the Newman marriage, or if Jack's strategic, personal attack will lead to the final split that viewers have long speculated about. Victor and Nikki have endured countless trials, affairs, faked deaths, amnesia, and even open marriages. But the current tension is different. It's not just an external threat or a lapse in judgment. It's the systematic breakdown of trust based on Victor's unwillingness to prioritize his wife's peace over his pathological need for vengeance against Jack. Jack Abbott is no longer playing chess. He's playing with fire, specifically the emotional fire that burns between Victor and Nikki. By striking Victor where it hurts, not his wallet, but his heart and his most prized possession, his love story with Nikki, Jack has guaranteed a fallout that will dominate Genoa City. Shockwave. Victor's revelation turns Jack's protective measures into a corporate guillotine. The war between titans Victor Newman and Jack Abbott has always been a game of high-stakes chess. For decades, the boardroom of Genoa City has been their battlefield, with casualties ranging from hostile takeovers to shattered marriages. Yet, today marks a new, catastrophic chapter, a calculated, chilling revelation from Victor that hasn't just pierced Jack's corporate defenses, but has weaponized the very measures Jack put in place to protect himself and Jabot, turning his fortress into a self-destructing cage. This isn't just about a business deal. It's a profound narrative of betrayal, technological warfare, and the fatal flaw of trusting technology over human instinct. Victor, the Black Knight, has not merely won the latest skirmish. He has engineered a scenario where Jack Abbott, the perennial rival, is now the architect of his own public and professional ruin. The fortress, Jack's unbreakable digital shield. Jack Abbott had learned his lessons the hard way. Following the near-catastrophic AI software scandal, the same technology Victor had once tried to use against him and that Adam Newman later weaponized. Jack poured astronomical resources into creating what he believed was an impregnable digital defense system for Jabot, codenamed Aegis. This system was designed not just to block external threats, but to root out all internal vulnerabilities, operating under a philosophy of absolute transparency and zero tolerance for compromise. Pillar 1: Absolute Audit Trail. Every single transaction, every data access, and every executive decision was logged, time-stamped, and instantaneously mirrored onto 3 separate, physically disconnected server farms. The goal: immediate, irrefutable proof of corporate integrity in the face of Victor's inevitable attacks. Pillar 2: Mandated transparency. Aegis had a clean hands protocol that automatically flagged and locked down accounts involved in any high-value, non-standard transaction without an executive-level, documented and independently verified rationale. This was Jack's iron fist against any inside sabotage, a silent sentinel against the Newmans' history of corporate espionage. Pillar 3. The loyalty contract. Crucially, a new, legally airtight clause was written into all senior management contracts. This clause stated that any executive found to have intentionally compromised Jabot's security or financial integrity would face immediate, unmitigated legal action. And this is the fatal detail. Their entire history of financial transactions and communications related to the compromise would be automatically released to regulatory bodies via the Aegis Systems audit trail. This was Jack's final deterrent move, the legal equivalent of a corporate nuclear option. Jack's confidence in Aegis was absolute. He had even publicly dared Victor, stating, "My house is built of titanium, Victor. Any rock you throw will just bounce back and hit you." 2. The shockwave, Victor's cold-blooded reveal. The shocking news didn't come in the form of a hostile bid or a direct hack. It was delivered with surgical precision during a global media summit ostensibly organized by Newman Enterprises to discuss global market stability. Victor, flanked by his children, paused his presentation, a slow, predatory smile spreading across his face. For years, Victor's voice boomed across the convention hall. "My longtime acquaintance, Jack Abbott, has maintained that the Newman family seeks to destabilize the market, that we operate without integrity. He has spent millions building a system, Aegis, to protect his company, Jabot, from what he perceives as a moral threat. I must say, I admire the architecture of his defenses. They are, in fact, quite brilliant." The audience, a mix of international investors and press, leaned forward. This was the calm before the storm. Victor then dropped a digital bomb. With a single press of a button, a projection shifted from his corporate logo to a screen displaying a single, damning transaction log, complete with timestamps and IP addresses, pulled directly from one of Jack's mirrored servers. The revelation, the $50 million phantom transfer. The log detailed a $50 million transfer, flagged by Aegis, made 6 months ago from a Jabot subsidiary to a shell corporation in the Cayman Islands. The stated internal justification for the transfer? Strategic Acquisition Fund, Project Nightingale. The actual destination, however, was a private fund managed by Alastair Thorne, a notorious former associate of Victor Newman, known for his ability to manipulate market liquidity. The crucial twist: the log also revealed the person who approved the transfer and subsequently buried the compliance flag. Jack's trusted chief financial officer, Marcus Thorne, Alastair's younger brother. But Marcus Thorne had been meticulously vetted by Jack. He was a protege, a man Jack had personally mentored for a decade, citing him as an example of unwavering integrity that could stand up to the Newmans. Jack had even used Marcus's spotless record as a public benchmark for the very defensive system, Aegis, that had just implicated him. The shock on the faces of the Newman children, Victoria looking bewildered, Nick shaking his head, told the world that this was not a coordinated Newman family maneuver. This was Victor's solo play, and its cruelty lay in its absolute, targeted precision. 3. The weaponized defense. Aegis becomes the executioner. The true masterstroke of Victor's move was that he did not have to hack Jack's system. He merely had to expose a single, pre-existing and protected vulnerability. Jack's immediate and expected reaction, a furious denial, was utterly nullified by his own defensive mechanism, Aegis. The triggered protocol. Jack, watching the live broadcast from the Jabot boardroom, immediately ordered Aegis to lock and nullify the transfer to prove it was a forgery. The fatal response: Aegis, programmed for absolute loyalty to its preset rules of integrity over any single executive's command, even Jack's, registered the exposed fraudulent transfer. The system interpreted Jack's command to nullify as an executive attempting to tamper with an active fraud investigation. The automatic legal release, the loyalty contract, and clean hands protocol immediately kicked in. Within 60 seconds of Victor's revelation, the Aegis system, operating independently as designed, automatically compiled the entire file on Marcus Thorne, including all related communications, and digitally transmitted it to the SEC, the FBI, and the global press pool. Jack's ultimate protective measure, designed to ensure Jabot's reputation by demonstrating immediate, automated compliance, had been turned into the public executioner of his own reputation and his CFO's career. The data released by Aegis was devastating. Not only did it confirm the $50 million fraud, but the communication logs, which Jack had implemented for transparency, showed that Thorne had been coerced by his brother Alistair with a threat that Jack himself had unknowingly created. If Jack were to lose his corporate independence, Marcus's family would be financially ruined. The protective measures Jack took to ensure Jabot's stability were the very conditions Alistair Thorne leveraged for his blackmail. Jack's defense, designed to shield his company, had created the pressure point that allowed Victor to spoilers. Holden in far deeper than Audra, Noah's interest renewed. The Young and the Restless spoilers document that Holden Novak's, Nathan Owen's, secret is far worse than Claire Newman, Haley Aaron suspects. Audra Cortez, Zuleika Silver, stole $500,000, but she didn't accidentally kill the man she fleeced. Holden did the Shadow Room's secret has been revealed through a series of black and white flashbacks with an echoing dialogue effect. Kudos to Y&R for changing their remembrance scenes in more recent years, as the film noir quality of past events is top-notch. Intriguingly, while Holden's true tie to Audra has just been explained, an important connection was just remade. Noah Newman, Lucas Adams, crossed paths with her when he and his dad were establishing a vital ruse at the Genoa City Athletic Club, implying that a triangle will form. A lost child is never gone. Devoted viewers recall that Audra lost a child she and Noah were going to have. That happened before the audience was introduced to Silver's character. And additionally, it wasn't something Noah knew about when they broke up. The revelation was a natural double shock. It was devastating to learn that he will forever be a father, but that Audra miscarried their baby. That was during the period when Noah was with Ali Abbott and Gwyn Kelsey Wong. Talk of Ali in recent weeks updated fans on her status. She and Noah are no longer together, which opened the daytime door to his new relationship with Sienna Bacall, Tamara Braun, who knows Audra from their time in Los Angeles, California, sees her as trouble. So that conflict is established. Audra Cortez can't avoid constant drama. Once again, Audra cited her childhood when sniping with Lily Winter's Crystal Khalil, who was dressed in a vintage outfit for the Abbott Communications launch. One of the few times when Audra discussed her past happened at a family gathering while she was still with Nate Hastings, Sean Dominic. Lily found Audra's tears to be weird and possibly an act of theater, offered to pull on Nate's heartstrings. That didn't appear to be true, but it reinforced how off-putting the women in GC find Audra, which is the view Silver's character expressed to Lily. Audra only had Sally Spectra, Courtney Hope, to rely on until she ran into Noah at the athletic club's classic revolving door entrance. While many would try to trap Audra in that circular entrance, Noah's first blush was pleasant, indicating that there's still something between them. Holden Novak's time is short? Hopefully, Owens will remain with the cast indefinitely because he's a solid actor who embodies a compelling newer character. For that to happen, the incident that he and Audra experience will need to remain buried. While the protection Holden offered Audra was genuine, it resulted in the death of another human being. The audience needs more information about the aftermath of that unwanted incident. How Claire responds, and what Sienna knows about what Holden did remain to be seen. But each lady's connection is likely important in GC. Y&R spoilers. Holden in far deeper than Audra, Noah's interest renewed, and the LA Noire aftermath. Get ready, Genoa City fans, because the fallout from the explosive Los Angeles storyline is sending shockwaves through the lives of Audra Charles, Holden Novak, and Noah Newman. What was initially framed as Audra's desperate attempt to keep a past mistake buried has spiraled into something far more sinister, revealing that Holden Novak is in far deeper than Audra, revelation that will completely rewrite the narrative we thought we knew. Simultaneously, the return of a recovered and newly recast Noah Newman has reignited a dangerous spark with his toxic ex, Audra, threatening his current tumultuous relationship and setting the stage for a fiery Newman-Abbott rivalry. The LA noir catastrophe, Holden's fatal secret unmasked. The dramatic arc involving Noah's near-fatal accident in Los Angeles, the introduction of the mysterious Sienna Bacall, and the menacing presence of the presumed dead Matt Clark, Eddie Mitch, was merely the fuse. The real bombshell has dropped with the revelation of the full, horrifying story connecting Audra and Holden Novak. For weeks, viewers were led to believe that Audra's shady past with Holden involved something like a stolen check or a minor, but damaging business scandal, a typical soap opera transgression. Holden had even selectively confessed to his current love interest, Claire Grace Newman, about a stolen check incident to seemingly protect Audra, making her look like the primary villain. The reality is terrifying. Recent flashbacks have completely demolished that cover story. The secret Holden was truly protecting for Audra is a fatal one. The deadly altercation. The full truth is that a drunken man named Richard, who was demanding his stolen money, presumably the check money, cornered Audra. Holden, in a heroic but ultimately tragic move to defend Audra, decked Richard. However, in the ensuing scuffle, Richard's head was slammed into the bar, leading to his death. The cover-up, Holden, acting out of panic and a desire to protect Audra, orchestrated a cover-up. The shocking truth is that Holden is an accessory to, or directly responsible for an accidental death and its concealment. The stolen check was a red herring. The true unconscionable secret is that there is blood on both their hands, though Holden took the physical action that led to the death. Holden's new role. This places Holden in an infinitely more perilous position than Audra. While Audra was the initial target of the rich guy demanding his money, Holden's impulse to protect her has made him the person with the far greater secret. He took a life and covered it up, a parallel to Nick Newman's history with Ashland Locke, but one that could land Holden in prison and destroy his burgeoning romance with Claire. Holden is in far deeper than Audra because he is the one who delivered the final, fatal blow and orchestrated the concealment. The desperate pact. Audra's deal with the devil's advocate. The tension culminates when Audra, recognizing the catastrophic danger of the secret finally coming to light, especially with the arrival of the connected Sienna Bacall and the looming presence of Matt Clark, who may have even helped them cover it up, makes a bold move. Audra strikes an unexpected deal with Holden. This is not a pact between equals. It's a negotiation between a blackmailer, in a sense, and a man holding the most volatile piece of information. Audra is making a calculated move to ensure their stories align and that Holden's protective instinct remains firmly pointed at her. Protecting their joint secret. Audra knows that a deal is necessary to keep Holden from wavering, especially as he grows closer to the moral compass of the Newman family, Claire. If Holden cracks, they both go down. Sienna as a threat. Sienna Bacall, the Hollywood bar owner connected to both Audra and Holden, and now sleeping with Noah, is the loose cannon. Audra's deal with Holden must be to neutralize Sienna as a threat, ensuring she doesn't use her knowledge of the LA drama to gain leverage or seek revenge against Audra. The irony. The deal underscores the shocking truth that Holden, who is courting Claire with a veneer of redemption, is actually concealing a crime worse than anything Audra was initially accused of. He is now inextricably bound to the woman he was initially trying to protect Claire from. Old flames reignite. Noah's interest renewed in Audra. In a simultaneous, equally shocking development, the return of Noah Newman to Genoa City has set the stage for a major romantic upheaval. The recent, unexpected run-in between Noah and Audra has reignited a blaze of passion, much to the delight of some fans and the utter dread of the encounter. Their chance meeting at the Genoa City Athletic Club was charged with undeniable chemistry. The sparks that flew were a sharp contrast to the indifference Noah had previously claimed to feel for his toxic ex. The Rescue Ranger instinct. Noah, a classic Newman Rescue Ranger, like his father Nick, is drawn to women in distress. With Audra's life in tatters, jobless, without Nate Hastings, and now facing down a criminal conspiracy, she is the ultimate damsel for him to save. The very efforts of Kyle Abbott and Claire to destroy Audra may be the catalyst that drives Noah back to her, compelling him to be her hero. The Sienna problem. Noah is currently embroiled in a passionate, yet dangerous, affair with Sienna Bacall, who is the wife of the criminal Matt Clark, Mitch. The full, horrifying details of Audra and Holden's LA secret will undoubtedly involve Sienna and Matt. When Noah learns how deeply Sienna is tied to the criminal underworld and potentially the deadly cover-up, he may feel betrayed or, worse, realize she's a threat. This provides the perfect avenue for Noah to turn away from Sienna and toward Audra, the woman he once loved, whose predicament he feels responsible for or compelled to fix. A Newman revenge plot. Audra's history of being wronged by Victor Newman gives her a compelling motive to rekindle the flame. Dating Victor's grandson would be the ultimate payback, not to mention a devastating blow to the newly established Claire Grace Newman, who despises Audra. What starts as a scheme for Audra, however, may quickly evolve into genuine feelings as their past love and the shared trauma of the supposed miscarried child was undeniably real. The looming battle, Newman versus Abbott, Round 2. This complicated web of secrets and resurfacing passions is poised to trigger a massive inter-family feud, echoing the historic Newman-Abbott rivalry. Kyle's vengeance. Kyle Abbott, who has a history of his own with Audra, has teamed up with Claire to expose and destroy Audra. They are actively seeking the full truth about her past. Noah's defense. If Noah sides with Audra, becoming her protector and romantic partner, it will put him directly at odds with Kyle. Noah, protecting his renewed love versus Kyle, protecting his cousin/current flame Claire, will create a vicious cycle of animosity. The family dynamics. Nick and Sharon, already reeling from Noah's accident and his current questionable choices, will be horrified if he gets back with Audra, a woman they rightly view as manipulative and toxic. They will likely support Claire and Kyle's efforts, further polarizing Noah from his family. Conclusion. The stakes have never been higher. The revelation that Holden Novak is the one holding the most dangerous secret, a fatal cover-up in Los Angeles, is a masterful twist that elevates the entire storyline. Holden is in far deeper than Audra, changing the dynamic from a simple blackmail plot to a complex, shared criminal entanglement. This shocking secret, combined with the explosive chemistry between Noah and Audra, ensures that this storyline will be high engagement, unpredictable, and devastating. Will Holden be able to hold onto his new life with Claire while guarding a secret that could send him to prison? Will Audra successfully use Noah as a shield and a pawn in her schemes, or will genuine emotion ultimately take over? And how will the newfound Newman/Abbott alliance between Claire and Kyle survive when a Newman, in the form of Noah, steps up to defend the target?